Evening, Gas Heads. Welcome back to another episode of the Talking Gas podcast. Hope everyone is doing well on this Thursday evening. Welcome back to episode 13 already. Appreciate the support as always. Really does mean a lot. Of course, if you haven't already, do subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit the like button as always. Of course, if you're watching back on the replay or if you're watching live, hit the like button. If you can get 50 likes, that always helps out the channel and gets it, to other gas heads, to other fans as well. So, and of course, if you haven't already, do join Fan Hub. The code is in the blue thing going across the bottom. So if you haven't already joined Fan Hub, then do join that. I've got a code there. And yeah, plenty of stuff to talk about. Of course, we're going to be talking about the Cheltenham game, the FA Cup game, of course, the 4-2 win against Crewe. And then around 8:30, we're going to be joined by Ryan Latham from the Trotter Chatter Podcast. So they're a Bolton podcast. They're going to be coming on, so we're going to get a bit more insight. Of course, it's going to be a very tough game, before losing on, their last game against Pompey. They were, 11 games unbeaten, scoring loads of goals, clean sheets. So, yeah, it's going to be tough, but as always, get your thoughts in. If you're watching live, get your questions in. Of course, if you're watching after, then do leave your score predictions in the comments. And yeah, leave any thoughts you want to ask us, and we'll get onto that. But yeah, joined by Neil as always. Evening, Neil. How's it going?
How you going, lad? All right?
Yeah, mate. All good. Yeah, recovered. Yeah, a bit knackered. Obviously, both of us coming back from Crewe last night, but yeah. Well, say last night, Tuesday night, but yeah, good to get the win and yeah, into round 3 on that. But starting off with, like I said, we'll start off with the Cheltenham game, Taylor's first league game. Of course, we're not going to get into the Crawley game. That was, basically like, a mini sort of pre-season for him to test out different things and stuff. But yeah, getting into, the Cheltenham game, 1-1, another 1-1 draw at home, obviously after the Orient game. What did you make of that? I know it feels like ages ago now, but it was only last week. What did you make of that? Drawing 1-1, the way we started in first half, etc. What did you make of the whole game?
Well, it was it's a continuation of Crawley. When it first half was just an extension of Crawley's second half anyway. It was a bomb scale, wasn't it? It was terrible, to be honest. They looked all at sea. They looked terrible, and thankfully we was playing a side that, although they're improved, they ain't great themselves, because we could have got put to bed early doors if we was playing anyone half decent. I think that we was terrible first half. I mean, yeah, the goal. I've looked back at that goal a few times. I still now I don't know how Gibbons got that so wrong. I can't see how he's got that so wrong, because he's favourite to get there. He's pretty much going out of play. He's about a yard from the touchline. I don't know how he's got that so wrong, because he could have done pretty much anything with that to not make that safe. And then, because of the way the ball's travelled, Finley can't really jockey him. All he can do is really try and show him is basically say, don't go on the inside of me, show him on the outside. So he's had to go and get touch tight to his man, who's megged him, which, in another scenario, he'd have been able to curve his run and be able to just jockey him and give people time to get him behind. But once he's been done, it's curtains in it, because there's no recovery behind him. And it was terrible from the way, ever since the ball got cleared, our shape was awful. Come out second half, and I know people said, it was a lot better second half, but it couldn't have got any worse.
Yeah, it couldn't have got any worse.
It was it better? Yeah, but that don't mean it was good. The Martin chance has got to go in. You'd back him to score that, 9 out of 10 times. And he's not even at the target. So that tells you how the day's going. Got back in it, but again, I've looked at it a couple of times. I don't know how Hunt's managed to squeeze it in, because he hasn't. If he'd have caught it properly, it'd have probably gone flying somewhere else. He's managed to sort of top it, and it's nestled in the corner. But then after that, it just sort of petered out to be, it wasn't as if we could have gone on and won that. We should have gone on and won that. It was anybody's game from then on in. It wasn't like we was going to absolutely run over Cheltenham, and it sort of petered out into be a point that was sort of deserved, I guess. I guess it was a share of the spoils was fair, but it wasn't a great watch. And I didn't look at that thinking, oh yeah, like they're taking on board good information. They're being told they're buying into what's. It just looked a mess, to be honest, a muddle of like bad performances, all a bit disjointed, not a great deal of enthusiasm. It wasn't a great watch, to be honest. No, but I suppose a point's a fair result. If you can't win them, don't lose them. I suppose that's the best you can take out of it.
Yeah, completely agree. Why do you think it was so bad that first half? Because even it was just everything when it was I couldn't have. There hasn't been many, and I know our home form even like since last year hasn't been the best. But why do you think it was so bad? Because even I seen Chris just commented saying I left before half time. I seen a few people who was on the coach here, for Crewe left as well. Why do you think it was so bad? Do you reckon it was just a mixture of how we've been playing, how sort of the mood from the camp, confidence, everything? Do you think, can you put it down to one thing, or do you think it was just a mixture of everything?
No, I expect there's a few factors. Like I don't know what they are because obviously I'm not inside it. I don't know any more than anyone else or less than anyone else. But just I can only assume from own experiences and managers coming in and out, etc. But it's it all depends on what's being asked of them. You know what I mean? Everything's been completely shaken up for them now. It's new timings, new platform, new different format for your days and your weeks. Everything's different now. Different voice, different instructions. You've got a new man that you've got to try and win over. It's all a blank canvas. Training is going to be different. You've got players there that are going to be acting completely different to what they have been for the last 3 years because, like I said, it's a blank canvas. People can start, forging a place in that side that didn't have open L before. If we feel like, he's come in there and said, look, it's a clean slate. Everyone's there to impress. So the mood and the feel will be completely different. And you don't know how much information these lads have been asked to take on. Like Taylor could have gone there and go, I want you to do this. And if you bombard, footballers with an awful lot of information at one time, they're not going to take it all on board and do it perfectly from day one. So it could be a few things, but it just looked like they didn't look well oiled, And I know they haven't looked well oiled all season, but if you look at some sides, I keep harping back to a side like Stevenage because they're not big hitters, but they know exactly what they got to do, and they undertake the things that they're meant to do near on perfectly, and that's why they sit where they are in the league because they know their process. It's drilled into them, not a lot of change, and we're not that. So that's what you want to get to, but we're a million miles away from that, and that's what them sort of performances come out like. Because if you look at our results all season, we can't really back anything up if we do have a good one.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we've only, say when we've won, I think we've only won back-to-back once in the league. I think it was the Shrewsbury game into the Wigan game. I think that's the only time we've actually backed something up because, like you said, it's been sort of, inconsistent all season, whether that's, creating chances, whether it's, having trouble to score goals. Obviously clean sheets, if you say, for example, I know Bolton are in a totally different process as people say nowadays. Everett's been there quite a couple of years now, maybe 2-3 years. And you see, he's been, with the three at the back, they've been solid for most of the time. You look at, I think they've got 7 or 8 clean sheets in the last 11. Obviously we're quite new. Like you said, it's going to be different. Some players might, and, we know some players wanted, Mangan or wanted Barton to stay even. So it is going to be completely different. But obviously we'll get into the Crewe game in a minute. And I know we played aside from a league below, but it looked a lot more like the way Taylor wanted to play and like fans wanted to play. But yeah, I agree with you. I echo it. It was another, I said after the game, it's 7 home games unbeaten, but 4 of those 7 are draws. And yeah, like you said, a lot of people have said it was so awful the first half. Like you said, it couldn't have got much worse. And even the second half, really, apart from, I think the 10-minute spell we had, because we did start well. Tempo was good. Players getting more forward, getting into space. But like you said, apart from the obviously the goal and then the Martin chance, we didn't really keep going, did we? It was just like, and even in the end, Cheltenham had chances to go down the other end second half and win. But like you said, if you don't win them, don't lose them, and we got a draw. So yeah, unbeaten start in the league, but yeah, it was disappointing. But yeah, getting onto the Crewe game, of course, I even said it and you said it, and I think a lot of gassers were the same. The way we've been, the mood and in the camp and within the fans the last few games hasn't been confident. And even me, I said to you, I wasn't that confident going into Tuesday, the way we've been playing. But when the lineup come out, 5 changes, and I even said to you and a few people there, like, I was like, yeah, I reckon that's a 3 at the back. And yeah, I think there was some other bloke was like, it could be a 4, but I was quite happy with that, because if you look at a lot of the games, Taylor's from his time at Exeter and Rotherham, he sort of mixed and matched. I think, when he started at Exeter, he started with a 4, but then after that, it went into a 3. And then Rotherham last year, obviously, he kept them up and he played a 3. And then for the sort of last 10 games, he went to a 4. So I was quite happy with that. I know a lot of fans, it's probably mixed. It'd be interesting to see what everyone else thinks. But for me, I like the 3 at the back, because you can look at it and go, oh, you're playing 3 defenders. You've got 2 midfielders in front of that. But it allows the wing backs to get forward, and the 2 sort of attacking midfielders or sort of left and right forwards to getting involved as well. And obviously the first half started well, didn't it? What did you make? I think, we was pretty much all surprised when we, was 3-0 up and playing really well, looking good going forward. What did you make of the formation and how we played especially in the first half?
Yes, I mean, like I said to you all throughout the game, you've got to put everything into context of who we're playing and who we're up against. So I don't get too giddy just yet about what we've seen there, but I thought it looked good as far as being compact through the center of the pitch. As far as the core in the middle of that pitch, we looked a lot tighter and a lot more held together. We weren't as exposed. But you're only as good as what like I said, like the information you take on what the players do. You can play a 5, but still get played round if you don't play it right. But Crewe looked like they prepped for a 4. They looked like they prepped. They'd have had us watched obviously 2-3 times, and they'd have prepped for a 4, not expecting a 3. And I don't think the formation is the be all and end all of why they got it for like 3 in the first half. I just think when you can get someone like Evans, and I know he didn't have the best game in the world, Collins, but when you can get them 2 in pockets and have the majority of the ball, you're going to hurt sides.
Yeah.
That first half, and second half, really, yes, on Tuesday from Evans was what Evans was doing to lead 2 sides. That is what he was doing to every single week. And if you allow him to take up those pockets and play between those lines, when you've got the insurance of Woods and Finley and behind it, and you're going to have the ball retention, he just caused havoc. He just caused absolute havoc, especially when you've got the outlet of Jack Hunt pushing their fullbacks the other way. They could not get out down that side because Hunt was going to gamble every time the ball got into the middle of the pitch because he knew that he could get found. You got the insurance of 3 centre halves behind you, so he doesn't really have to break a neck to get back in if the ball gets turned over because you've got the insurance behind you. And Evans and Collins can sit in the pocket and wait for that. Because they conceded pretty much all 4 of them goals that they conceded was in transition of the ball.
Yeah.
So those players are set in the top end of the pitch to get that ball when the ball gets turned over. But having said that, again, I don't want to get too carried away because if we go and think we can go and do that at Bolton, it's a different kettle of fish. I'm not saying you can't play that system, but you're not going to get that much joy with the ball. But you couldn't have asked for any more. 3-0 at Crewe. Crewe have been no mugs this season. Really good. They got caught cold. They'd have been really disappointed in the goals they conceded. But when chances present themselves, you've got to take them. We did. And when you got 2 out playmakers that can sit in a pocket between a midfield and a defensive line, you're going to get a lot of joy. Granted, about 80% of it come through Evans, and Collins didn't have the best day, but he's always a threat. People don't leave him alone. You don't just leave Aaron Collins by himself. He draws players to him. So there was plenty of positives to take. I mean, the Marcus goal was good. It's nice for him to get one off the mark. But again, like I said, is he scoring that against Bolton? Probably not. But you play what's in front of you, and he took his goal well. Hunt's delivery is like A1 for the level. Like he doesn't miss when the ball goes in the box. If you can find him, which we managed to do. Look at someone like Woods, who hadn't been in the side for a while. He played forward. When he got the ball, he played forward. And I thought what we did better than we have done recently, whether it be with a 3 or a 2 centre halves, was we didn't play out all the time. We turned sides round. We stretched them rather than playing out, going back to fullback, back into centre midfield, back out to fullback, and trying to constantly find that pattern to get through the middle of the pitch when sides just constantly make ground on you to try and pinch it high. We went back to basics and went, you know what? If there's no drawing, we'll turn them round, get these lads at the top of the pitch with a bit of pace to turn them round. You've got Marcus, who won't leave you alone. He'll work his nuts off, and he'll harry fullbacks. And we just did that a bit better, I thought. We were pretty basic in the way we tried to get ourselves out of that sort of our own sort of 20 yards rather than play out. We went, you know what? Nothing's on. We'll clip it in behind the fullback and we'll start again, and we'll get ourselves up the pitch. And I thought we did the sort of like the fundamentals we did well. I know the Evans goal was like unreal. It's a great bit of play. It's a great bit of play. There's back heels in there, third runners, jinks inside, and finishes in the top corner. But I'm just talking about the basic fundamentals. We did a lot better, I thought, on Tuesday.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Football sometimes football. That's all you need to do is. And I know it's not the be all and end all, but a lot of the game is doing the basics right and playing forward and like you said, taking chances. And like you said, I know we know it's a team from the league below, but they stuck 5 past Derby in 2 games. They knocked Derby out of the FA Cup. You got to go there, and for me, I really like that. I like the system, and I know. I'm not sure. Obviously, there was having a gas earlier on, and Taylor was on there. But I listened to the bit at the end, but I haven't listened to all of it. So if anyone has listened to having a gas and listened to Taylor's interview, and you can let us know about Hunt, because obviously he went off injured. Wilson went off, but Wilson looked fine when he went off. But then you don't know how bad it is. You don't know if anything's flared up or whatever. So it's. When we go over lineups, it's going to be tricky because I might say, put the pretty much probably 7 or 8 of the same players that started Tuesday, but then you don't know. I mean, if Hunt is out and if Wilson's out, Gibbons, I think, had a back spasm. I don't know how bad they are. And then you look at the left back situation. George Friend is out. Lewis Gordon's out with a hamstring injury. So it's going to be a bit weird and interesting to see what players are available, especially in the defensive part. But like you said, overall was really good. Obviously, it was annoying to can not keep a clean sheet, but if you've been watching Crewe this season, they're one of the they don't stop going. They were they keep on scoring. I think they've got like one of the best comeback teams in the EFL this season. And it was a bit dodgy that second half, but
that's just another element of what needs to get hammered home. And there's a bit of realization that just keeps on creeping in that we was cruising it for. And I understand he's got to make these subs. He's going to make these subs because he wants to look at everyone. But when you make subs like that it makes you staggered in your momentum.
Yeah,
and
I think they were injured.
I go back to what I've been saying week on, week out. We haven't got any real leaders in that squad. No one that we've had previously. And I know I'm keep harping on about his name because it's ridiculous because I keep bringing him up every week. But we ain't got someone in that mold anymore. And when you take away the person who's the closest sort of to it that we've got, which is Finley, when you take that dog out of that side. Folded, didn't we? That's where the goals come from. they just cruise through the middle of the pitch, really, because we had no one in there to give you any real bite. Even if you're making good fouls, picking up a good booking or doing something, like we conceded 2 goals and then we was on the ropes. It was as far as a game management, it was suicide. We should have never done that, and that isn't down to Taylor making a bad call. Like, I'd have dragged Finley as well. You want to keep him, look after him, don't you? He's playing all right, he's playing well. You want to look after him, but there needs to be accountability and responsibility for the lads that left out there. Are you going to get hold of this or what? Because they were just looking at each other like, oh, we're in the shit here. Well, yeah, you are. So do something about it.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I'm not. I think with obviously Hunt and Wilson were injuries, is obviously what we know. But also Finley, I sort of agreed with him, because thing is with Finley, he's always picking up, throughout the whole season, and even this season we've seen it in quite a few games. He's picked up these knocks, which he's out for 1 or 2 games. So you need to, I agree, 4-0 up, you shouldn't. But like you said, there isn't no one, especially when you take Hunt, Wilson, and Finley off. There isn't no one, and obviously Martin didn't come on either. So who do we bring on? We brought in Giovanni, Grant. A lot of the experience and, like you said, dog in Finley, the way he gets about, and there wasn't any of that. So that's what needs to change. I think mentality is a must, and we are still definitely missing, though, like you said. And I know people probably get annoyed with you saying it, but it's true. We are missing the Coots player, because you used to hear him at games and that. Even he'd be there talking and barking orders, and people would listen to him. And that's what we are missing, and that needs to change. And hopefully Taylor can change the whole mentality. Hopefully. But appreciate everyone tuning in. 34 currently tuning in live. I know a lot of you will be watching it back as well. So keep hitting the like button if you haven't already. Keep getting in your questions as well. Patrick Wells saying, I'd love to see us get Ryan Jones back. Jason MH as well. Joey isn't going to be happy with this new ref announcement. I haven't even seen that. And Yusuf saying Hunt had a scan today. So hopefully it isn't too bad and he can play, because otherwise, with a lot of injuries out, Chris saying I don't think Finley. Thing is, Finley not made 90 minutes in any game. That's him. Because he is always challenges and getting around, and is he must be clocking up quite a fair bit. He's always getting these like knocks, and even like I said already this season, he's missed 1 game or 2 games there. But before we bring in Ryan from the Trotter Chatter Podcast, like the title of the pod says about the tough run of fixtures. I mean, it's going to be. We talked about it last week, but and it starts now. Bolton away, Blackpool away, Portsmouth at home, Wickham away. Obviously, I know they're not doing well currently, but we always struggle against Wickham no matter what. Then you've got Oxford, you've got Blackpool again, then I think at home, Norwich away in the FA Cup. Like, the fixtures now is probably the toughest out of any team. What do you make of that, and how can you see it going on, in the next few games? But we've talked previously, we usually do a lot better against these sort of sides. You've already seen this season. We drew at Pompey, we beat Charlton away, we drew with Barnsley, but in all these games, even though we've played well and we've talked about it loads this season, when we're on top, we don't take our chances. And, if we do that, if we're on top against Bolton, say Oxford, when we were first 10, 15 minutes on top, had a few chances, don't take your chances. Then when you've got Dion Charles up front, who always scores against us, even though he didn't score against us last season, we'll get punished. So, your thoughts going into these tough run of fixtures?
I think there's 2 ways to look at it in there. Like, you can either fear it and think, right, they're a good side, they're a good side, they're a good side. We'll get pumped against them. We'll lose that. If you can get a little bit of form, if you can get a little bit of belief in your side of the way we're playing and what we're going to do, you might get a bit of form, and then you'll have Saturday, Tuesday, Christmas, New Year, these games, and the games are coming thick and fast, and you're looking forward to them, thinking, we can get something here. This sort of time of year, when a side hits a little bit of form, it's perfect time to get it because the games are coming thick and fast. You ain't got a lot of time on the grass because all you're doing is recovering to go back out again and play. And it's, and they're just rolling and you're getting a bit of momentum into your results and the understanding of the way you play. Flip side of that is if you're sliding the other way, you're dreading it because it's another game. Then you got 3 more days and another game, 3 more days, another game, and then you're dropping points left, right, and centre, and you're probably taking an hammering off of some good sides that you're going on the road to, etc. So there's 2 ways of looking at it, but eventually he's going to have to hang his hat on a side that he likes the look of rather than having a look at a player, because he ain't going to be able to have the luxury of making subs, on the 60, 70, 80 minute mark to go, I'll have a look at you. I'll have a look at you playing there. There needs to be a solid understanding of we need to get a result here. So a job needs to get done and I need to know that you can do it for me. But once you get to sort of the Christmas period, you're not a million miles away from January anyway. And I'd be amazed if we don't do some business in January. So
yeah,
I'll be amazed if you don't see 2 or 3 come in, whether it's someone that a deal's been done prior to him coming in, or his earmarked players that he knows that he likes and he knows he can get a tune off that he wants to bring in. So it's about just once you get to January, a squad can get bolstered a little bit because I'm not too sure what can go out the door, to be honest, the other way. And even if you wanted to, with the games coming thick and fast and the injuries we're picking up, you're not really going to gain anything by losing players anyway.
Yeah, completely agree. Matt Bray saying with his Exeter team and Bath links, did Tilson ever work with Taylor? Also, where is Tilson? I'm not sure if he worked with him, and I don't have a clue where Tilson is nowadays. And there was a comment from Matt Bray also saying, how can we manage with just Taylor and Byron? Because obviously, literally all of the staff now is gone. Obviously, Glenn Whelan left the other day, so all the best to Whelan. Whelan was, as a player that, when we got him in League 2, he was unreal. Even though he might have been 39 years of age, he could still, play ball, and he was great for the young players. So he's left. Pretty much everyone's left. So that also links with this super chat. I appreciate Marvin James for the 199 super chat saying what happened. Yeah, basically a lot of them have left. So it will be interesting because Carlisle, who was Taylor's assistant and former Rovers player, is staying at Rotherham. So it will be interesting to see what happens with that. Also got another super chat quickly before we join in. Ryan, yeah, thanks Tim for the 499. Saying, what do you think will happen to Belshaw? Because obviously he's back now. What do you think? Like, for me, I think I know a lot of people have been very, very annoyed and frustrated with Cox recently with his kicking. But for me, I think you either, you just keep playing him, because for me, he hasn't really done much wrong. I know it's been frustrating, but, going to, especially the last sort of 5 or 6 games, people have been getting more and more frustrated. But for me, I will still stay with him. Worst comes to worst, and I don't know, Taylor decides to start playing someone else, I think will be Ward. With Belshaw out of contract in the summer, I don't think we'll see him much personally. What do you think? But yeah, thanks appreciate the super chats from Marvin and Tim as well. But yeah, what do you think of that? Belshaw is now back at the club. Do you think that means much? Do you think he'll play, or do you think he'll go out in January on the cheap, or just leave on a free and not play?
It is a weird one, our goalkeeper situation at the minute, because you've got, Belshaw's going to come back, and Cox, I haven't got a problem with Cox. I don't think he's part of a problem, to be honest. But also, he's not part of the solution either, because he ain't our goalkeeper. Yeah. So you're sort of giving a load of experience and a load of games to a player that you're not bettering himself for you, that you're doing it for someone else. So he's not part of the solution, because he's never going to be ours, come the summer. I expect my hunch is that Belly will probably go out in January, and he'll look to try and forge his way into getting a contract elsewhere, because I just think he's not going to. I can't see Taylor wanting to proceed with Barton cycle of players. I know Belshaw had his issues with Joey, but he's got to turn that culture around, because at the minute, if you look like Matey Boy said about the staff, he's paddling there on his own at the minute. He's got a load of players that didn't want the manager to go. They were all pretty much up in arms that, you know, he'd been let go. Then after 5 weeks, Mangs gets let go. They didn't want either. It was the environment they wanted to be in. It was the people they wanted to work with. And now he's been thrust in there, and they either buy into him or he needs to oik him out by hook or by crook, because he's never going to do it in January, because players will look after himself. They've got no right to leave. If a deal isn't on the table that doesn't suit them financially, they just go, I'm going to stay put. I ain't going nowhere. And you know, more power to them. They've got families to look after. They've got jobs to do, and the contract got put in front of them, and they signed it. But he desperately does need to get his own men in, whether that be backroom staff or players, because there needs to be a culture shift there if he's going to get a tune out of anything, because ultimately he's got a load of players there that aren't his, and you're only going to trust your own men.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But yeah, like I said, appreciate the super chats as well. But yeah, we're going to get into the Bolton preview now. We're joined by Ryan from Trotter Chatter. Make sure they're on YouTube and all the podcast platforms, so go and subscribe, go and give them a follow. And also, big up to him for shouting me out earlier on. He was on having a gas earlier, and he bigged up the pod, so appreciate that. And welcome on the pod. How you doing?
I'm not bad. It's been a busy evening, to be honest. I'm everywhere today, all around the south coast. It's not bad. Yourself?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, all good. But yeah, plenty to get into. Obviously, first question is, how have you sort of made on this season so far? You must be pretty happy with the start you made. Obviously, you lost the other night after being 11 games unbeaten. What have you made to the start of the season?
It started pretty slowly, to be honest with you. Everett he brought a lot of new players into the team to try and fit this sort of perfect style of play that he wanted to play. The players who weren't sort of shoehorned into that position, and it took off quite slowly. But obviously, the proof is in the pudding, and the results that we've had it's been an amazing run. But don't let it fool you that we were winning and we were playing very frustratingly. It's only over the past couple of months where things have really started to click into place, and everyone's on a high at the minute. And we may have lost to Portsmouth, and we may have sort of gone out with a bit of a whimper, but it's very difficult to pick at Bolton at the minute.
Yeah, because it's been, like you said, before the loss, you had 10 wins, 1 draw. This is in all competitions, by the way. 31 goals scored, 4 conceded, 8 clean sheets out of 11. And that's the thing with Bolton. You score a lot and you keep clean sheets, because especially a lot of your defence, sort of Owen Toyle, Gethin Jones, obviously Santos, the captain, you've had there for quite a while. So they're pretty stable with the formation and how you play. Obviously, like you said, you signed a few players. One of them that I've caught my eye is at Dacris Cogley. I think we were linked with him in the summer, but he ended up going to Bolton. And looking at stats wise, even what I've seen when he's played, he's looked really good. And yeah, you've obviously lost a few players. Obviously Trafford and Bradley, who you had on loan, were exceptional, of course, and you've replaced them really well with Cogley and obviously Nathan Baxter as well. So yeah, really good start. I mean, your thoughts quickly on your game the other night against Pompey, because I seen the score. I didn't watch it, but I was on FootMob looking at what was going on, and I seen obviously they had Bishop out, but that Yengi who scored, I think, a 92nd minute equaliser against us on opening day at Fratton Park looked a handful, and obviously you did lose. But what was your thoughts on the game?
So yeah, going into it, seeing that Colby Bishop wasn't available, it sounded amazing. But Yengi was the first striker who's really given Ricardo Santos that level of grief. Like it was almost the perfect change, which would have never been made if Bishop was available for selection. The first 20 minutes, it was two teams you could tell were at the top of the league battling it out, and it was a very even fixture. You may have seen the Dion Charles miss. The open net, and that really turned the game around. It's like the heads went after that, and it was a real what if moment where we think if we would have bagged that, would it have been a different game? And yet we just looked lackluster. It was it reminded us of our playoff attempt in the semi-finals against Barnsley. We just didn't show up to the occasion, and Portsmouth, being a good side at a very loud Fratton Park, took advantage of that.
Yeah, definitely. I shown. Well, I shown and spoke to Neil when we got on the coach on for Crewe on Tuesday. And I couldn't believe it. Even when I seen the video on Insta, I was like, wow, like Dean Charles, like probably one of the best strikers in the league. And but obviously it happens. It does sometimes, don't always go for you. But like you said, I think that was a moment because you were looking at stats wise. Because like I said, I didn't see the game, but it was looking like you were playing well. I think you had that Magoma chance as well. And like you said, when them two chances passed, that's when, some teams think, bloody hell, we got to turn it on. And obviously, like I said, you did lose in the end. I mean, Neil, what's been your thoughts? Or have you got any questions for Ryan on Bolton this season, like about Evert's style of play, certain players?
Yeah, like the biggest, the biggest thing for me is you got someone like Ian Evatt, and you look at, I do this quite a lot with managers and the sides they set up, and considering the footballer he was and how he played the game, that Bolton side doesn't really represent him as a player one bit. Like, did it shock you that you've gone to be so like expansive and attacking and top heavy, like with the signings you made and the 4 players you've got, considering who Ian Evatt is and how he's obviously played the game himself?
Yeah, he was actually recently on a podcast over the summer where he literally said those words. I was a player known for my domineering aerial strength and all that. So he's a self-proclaimed football snob, and he wanted to sort of bring this snobbery into when he was the Barrow manager for his Barrow Salona side, and then he tried to put it into place at Bolton as well in League Two, and it was a real risk because you can't play like that in League Two a lot of the time. You've got to just sort of slug your games out. It is surprising, but there's something said for being so certain in knowing what you want and being allowed the time to build that team, because a lot of managers wouldn't have had the same time, and it feels like he knew exactly what he wanted, and it's taken 5 or 6 transfer windows to get there, and it's working now, and hats off to him. The man's proved me wrong many a time.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird as well, because even last season, I thought you were probably the best team we've played. I remember obviously the last home game of the season when you came down, you was already in the playoffs. You made changes. That was a bit of a a dead rubber, really.
Yeah, off the gas at that point, definitely for that game.
Yeah, but then that that away game, I remember going there. You was on, again, good form. It was completely different then. Even then, though, we were playing when we had Joey, and in that period before January or just after when we played you, I can't remember the exact time, but we were playing with pretty much the same formation as you, like a 3-4-1-2, and we had Sinclair on like as a wing back attacking right mid, and we went 1-0 up early on. I think it was about 2 minutes, but after that you completely dominated us. But even then, you didn't have loads and loads of chances. And then you obviously, I think it was Kieran Sadlier, who's not at you anymore, scored like a 92nd minute equaliser, and it was absolutely gutting. But for me, I even said this season, I think you still will win the league. Because thing is with Pompey, they haven't, even though they beat you and they 6 points above you, but you've got a game in hand. I still think Bolton will win the league personally. Because Pompey haven't had their bad spell yet. They've still been, even when they've been playing poor, I've seen, in games, they've still managed to win. I still think they'll have a bad spell. I still think you'll win the league. What's your, obviously, hopes and expectations? Obviously, I'm guessing you will want to win the league because you're up there with them. But what do you think Bolton need to do to win the league?
Well, yeah, before we even kicked a ball this season, it was promotion or bust. The players that we've got, we know that they will want to move on if they don't get Championship football. Obviously, it's a long season yet, isn't it? I don't think we're going to do a great deal of work in January. I think Evert's pretty happy with the team that we've got. We need to be continuing back onto this winning run and creating that gap. Obviously, Stevenage are just behind us, but we've got 2 games on them. we're a game behind Portsmouth, and we need that. It only takes a blip, and we're back up with them like they did against Blackpool. It's a big thing to say, but I'm pretty comfortable that we will be up there. I think the level of opposition in League One this year is a lot easier, and when you're winning, you get used to winning. You play with confidence, and I can see it continuing, especially leading up to the new year. We've got some winnable fixtures. No offense.
Yeah. It's interesting when we at every sort of episode we do get onto score predictions, and I listen. Obviously, I won't give it away, but before, I think last night I was listening to it, so it's going to be interesting if you stick with the same prediction. Obviously, it could happen if the players that were injured went off injured the other day are going to be out, because Hunt has been he would probably be my player this season. Obviously, a lot of his career he's played in Championship. He was at our rivals a few years ago, and he's been quality for us. But it's so different from when he plays in sort of, Wilson. Even though he hasn't been class, James, he has been good, but some moments it's almost like he's a young kid again, even though he's like 35. But Hunt has been a massive part of the attacking play this season for us. And when the games he did miss out through injury, and obviously he joined us, I think 5 or 6 games into the season, but he's a massive part of how we play. So hopefully we've got a few players back, or they're not injured for Saturday, because I think that's really important. But yeah, keep getting in your questions in the comments as well. If you've got any questions for Ryan, leave them in the comments. Keep hitting the like button as well. Over 40 of you currently watching us live. I want to get your thoughts on Rovers this season. I don't know how much of you've seen, but obviously I'm guessing you've obviously seen the situation with obviously Barton getting sacked, Matt Taylor coming in. Obviously, by looking at it pretty much sums us up when you look at our games this season: 6 wins, 7 draws, 6 defeats. Played well in a lot of them and had chances in a lot of them, but with the debacle, which we go on about every episode with the Clark Harris situation, obviously deadline day, we don't get him in, and we've really missed that player, because I'm listening and I seen you guys, or listening to you guys saying about Collins as well. Obviously last season for us and the season before, he's been on fire. He's not been quite the same this season for whatever. As in goals, he's still been our best creator. He's created the most chances, but just hasn't got the same goals. So yeah, it's a bit of a interesting one. But yeah, what's your thoughts on us this season?
If I'm being completely honest, I've not really heard a great deal about Bristol. If the where we are in the league, we've been looking at the teams around us, and obviously you've been generally quite quiet. And I think when you've got that sort of mid-table obscurity, that inconsistency, you can sort of go under the radar a little bit. Like the likes of Collins, like you say, we heard a lot about him last season, and obviously Joey Barton makes a lot of noise as well, doesn't it? And you seem to have sort of slipped under the radar. I've had a look at your recent results, and you can sort of see the inconsistency there. Obviously, from a team who's up top, we're looking at Bristol Rovers and thinking this is a chance for us to sort of kick back on again. So yeah, I'm sort of surprised you're not doing as well as you should be. I thought you looked a good side last season. Obviously, it was your promotion campaign the season before, and I just expected a bit more of a kick on. So it's I don't know what's happened in the interim for that not to happen. But yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah, it's just been a mixture of stuff, really. We always start slow, but even then, even at the start of the season, like I said, with the games that we should have got points from, and when it's literally summed it up, hasn't it, Neil? Like, what would would you agree, Neil? And I think many Rovers fans would, not getting like an A1 forward like Clark Harris in, has really affected us, big time, because the amount of games, even Derby a couple of weeks ago when we lost 2-1, for, I would say, majority of that game, we were the better side. But when we were on top, we didn't take our chance, and then they went and got a goal. And it's too many mistakes, too many individual mistakes this season from, as a squad. I think this cost us. Would you agree, Neil, to why we're in this sort of pretty, and obviously all the stuff in the background with, owners and Barton going and everything else?
Yeah, I mean, we've been speaking about it every week since the deal fell through, ever since that collapsed. That has hurt us every single week, And I mean, yeah, there has been mistakes in games that we've played, but when you don't put games to bed, it's going to get tetchy, and there's going to be games that you either lose or you draw because you haven't put them to bed. Like, creating chances has not been a problem this season. We've created handfuls of chances, and we just haven't had that guy that, by the sound of it, down to our own, inept sort of management of that situation, has let that slip through our fingers, and that is going to hurt us. I'd like to think, January 2nd, we see that deal go through, because, yeah, you don't need to be, a football genius to see what that side needs to kick us on and make us a better side. Yeah, that's massive. What's that?
You can have Cameron Jerome if you want.
No, we've already got a centre forward that sits with his back to goal and don't run channels. You don't need another one.
We've got Chris Martin. Although he's done well for us. He's our top goal scorer, and you'll probably go, I mean, that's probably, but although he's played 11 league games, 10 of them are starts, and he's got 4 goals, and he's our top goal scorer in the league. So that just sort of shows you, obviously, when you've got Dion Charles and obviously our old player Victor Adebayo up front, and yeah, that just shows you. Martin's been here. When did he join? Sort of a month and a half or 2 months into the season, and he's he's our top goal scorer with 4 goals. So that just tells you.
If we didn't do that deal, God knows where we'd be.
Where would we be?
We've relied on him. We've relied on him so heavily since we've had him, which more than what we should have done. He's been brought in to obviously share the load and be able to help us out on the Saturday, Tuesday schedule. But whenever he's fit, we need him to play, because he is our genuine out-and-out goal threat. Granted, like I said, he won't run channels and he won't spin centre halves in behind, but his one-touch finishing inside the box is the best we've got at the minute, and he's taking chances that fall to him, thankfully. But I think from the outside looking in, your assessment of Rovers is pretty fair, to be honest, and it's pretty bang on, to be honest. If I was not a Rovers fan looking from the outside in at us, I'd probably say exactly the same as what you have there, Ryan, to be honest.
Good, glad to see I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, with the Clark Harris thing as well. Obviously, he isn't really getting games for Peterborough as well, which is it's scathing, really, isn't it? When you've got him, you're going to get goals, and that's the thing, isn't it? That's what you're missing.
Yeah. I mean, of all accounts, he did have an argument, I think, what I've heard, with Ferguson. And obviously, he really wanted to come back to Rovers. And yeah, since then, obviously they're flying as well, aren't they? Even like you said, even without playing him, I think they've got the youngest average age in the team in the league, and they're absolutely flying. So yeah, like Neil said, if we got anything about people at the club who work behind the scenes with transfers, hopefully they tie the deal down straight after the deadline pass, and hopefully he comes in January like straight away. Otherwise, it's just sums us up. I mean, getting into, as a Bolton fan, what would you say your main strengths and weaknesses are? If we got, I mean, saying that, our record's pretty good at Bolton. Well, last 3 games we've drew 1-1 3 times, although we haven't won against Bolton in any competition, whether it's the league or whatever, for like 30 years. But the last 3 games we've gone to Bolton, we've drew 1-1. So if there's any chance of us getting something, what would you say your weakness is? And yeah, what do we need to look out for? I'm sure most of us know, but if there's any group of players or things that you do that can cause us problems, what would you say?
The teams who have beaten us this season, very few, obviously Portsmouth and Wigan. I don't really like to include the Carlisle one. I blame that on injuries or whatever. Have really got in our faces and didn't allow us to play the game that we want to play. And as soon as you take that away from us, we're a very different team. We don't really know what to do. We like to play it out from the back. We're very possession based, and we like to wear teams down in the first half. Whenever we lose the ball, it's almost like a swarming press to retain that ball and get back control of the game. Wigan were very sort of gung-ho with the way they sort of attacked us when we had the ball, and Portsmouth did the same, and that's basically the way to work us. But you would have asked me this question before the Portsmouth game, and I said it is really difficult at the minute to pick out what we're doing wrong, because we've got it down to a T. Everyone's sort of, there's no one forced into a position where they shouldn't be. It all seems to be working pretty well. So yeah, not a great saving grace for you. I don't know, a few injuries that might help you, but yeah, there isn't particularly a heavy weakness for us. Like I said, we're scoring goals and we're not really conceding.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully Taylor's listening, and yeah, we can press you high, and yeah, because I think that's how we scored against you in the away game last season. First few minutes, I think we got on your face and got an early goal, and then obviously, yeah. So yeah, we'll have to see. Obviously, it's going to be tough. For me, it's the toughest game of the season so far. Going into, at the start of the season, when there was Portsmouth, I wasn't really, even though they're doing well now, and it was sort of a good thing, I think, that we played them on the opening day as well. But I wasn't like sort of, even Bolton, I'm not sort of scared or worried, but you just know the way you've been playing, the style of play, the attacking style, and it is for me the toughest game. So it's going to be a good test for us. We've played a lot of them so far: Derby, Barnsley, and Oxford. But like I said it when me and Neil said at the start of the stream, if we start well and the chances we have, we need to take them. Otherwise, it's going to bite us. The way you play and the goals you've been scoring. Exeter 7-0 a few weeks ago. Even a lot of games you've put 3-4 past a lot of teams. So it is going to be tough. I mean, getting into, before we get on to doing our lineup predictions and score predictions, Neil, what's your thoughts going into the Bolton game?
I think Bolton are going to win it. To be honest, I think they'll win the whole thing eventually, come sort of May. They're just so top heavy at the top end of that pitch. You look at what they've got like and the personnel they've got at the top of that pitch. They can all do everything they've brought in, whether it be go in behind centre halves, hold it up, aerial threat, pinning fullbacks, jinking past players. You look at like Budvarsson, Charles, and Dulu. You mentioned Cameron Jerome. He's got his own sort of skill set, and then you've got like Adebayo. You paid money for to come in and bang goals in for you. Like if you sort of implemented all of those into a 90-minute game, you've got every single attacking threat and sort of asset of skill set you can want in any sort of League One game. So I think they're really impressive going forward. You've got someone like Sheehan who'll make you tick, get on the ball and make you tick sort of in that pocket in front of your back four, nice and deep, pick it up and try and make you play. But then once you get into the final third, they're frightening, aren't they, Bolton? Absolutely frightening. So I'm pretty concerned, to be honest, going into Saturday.
Yeah, I am as well. I am as well, to be honest. I'm usually right. And I'm even, I'll be there like, yeah, we'll win. But yeah, just before we do our predictions, just to let you know, I will not be picking Rovers to win, even though I'm always saying Rovers will win. Hopefully, because we haven't won there or won against Bolton since '89. So surely records are there to be broken, right? So hopefully it happens. But it's of course it's going to be tough. But like you said, Neil, they've got all the attacking, different players with different strength, but also at the back, they're so good defensively. That three. The leader in Santos, Baxter in goal, has played Championship pretty much all of his career, who they signed in the summer. Owen Toyle, international. you know, it is going to be tough. But we'll get into lineups first. Obviously, you know, with Hunt doing the scan, he's definitely not injured. So for me, I'm going to have him in my lineup for now. But obviously, we'll see come 3 o'clock what the team's going to be looking like with, you know, Friend out injured, Gordon out injured, McCormick still out injured. Obviously, Rossiter long term. Yeah, we'll see. But Neil, what are you going for with your starting 11? And we'll come on to you, Ryan, in a sec as well for your Bolton 11.
I think just on the nature of what he's seen Tuesday and wanting to keep them lads on side, he'll continue to play the system that he saw Tuesday and try and get a bit more information on how he wants it played. To be honest, I'm not saying he's going to play that system all season, but I just think he'd like to work on it and improve it and tweak it a little bit. And like I said, they've just gone and scored 4 and they've won away from home and got through in the cup. So I expect he's going to want to keep them lads sweet and just keep playing that system, to be honest. I'm going to go on the assumption that the lads that were considered injured are not going to be fit to start Saturday. I'm just going to go on the assumption. So I'll go Cox in goal, Connor Taylor to go spare in a back 3 with Kramer and Grant either side of it. Harvey Vale one side, Scott Sinclair the other. Keep Woods and Finley in the middle. Evans and Collins to stay in the pocket with Chris Martin through the middle up top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, all right, I'll do the same as you then. I'll just go without Hunt and Wilson because, you know, we've got a tough game. So I'd rather them be fit for Blackpool or over the Christmas period than, play them with and you know, all players have knocks. But, you know, you get more. Well, I mean, I don't want to, play them if they're not 100%. So, well, I'll go for Cox in goal. I would go with, Taylor, Kramer, Josh Grant, centre-back. Midfield 2 of Finley and Grant Ward. On the left, Vale, right, Sinclair. Even he hasn't played a lot recently, but we haven't got loads of options. And then I would go... it's tough. I'd probably go Marquis, Martin, and Evans. Martin played. I know it was a league below, and I know he's been frustrating for us, Marquis, with missing big chances. But I would play him. I think you need that running and that work rate against Bolton to hurry their centre backs. If you want to sort of do anything, I would leave. But then you'd leave Giovanni Brown, Luke Thomas, Collins on the bench. I think that's pretty good to bring on. So, yeah, that would be mine. What would your starting 11 be for Bolton, Ryan?
So, a lot of the players we mentioned, to be honest. Nathan Baxter in goal, Ricardo Santos as captain with Gethin Jones and Owen Toll either side. The wing-backs, basically the wing-backs we've been playing all season. So, Randall Williams and Dacres Cogley. The midfield, George Thomason is out with a suspension. So, I tell a lie. He might not be. Yeah, he is. So, we got Kyle Dempsey, Sheehan is out with a suspension. So, George Thomason will play in the middle with Magoma and Dempsey. And then we'll have Dion Charles and young Daddy Bodvarsson up front.
I don't know where Charlie's gone to, mate, but I'm assuming that after that he's going to ask you what you think that score prediction is going to be. So how you think you're going to get on? Right.
So we there's like 7 of us on Trotter Chatter who do our predictions, and mine was by far the boldest. I'm expecting a big response, so I've said 5-0 to Bolton. I know that's brave, and I've said it on quite a few platforms this week, so it might come back to haunt me. But 5-0 Bolton, I've gone with.
To be fair, you're not too far off of what I assumed, and I said 4. I think you let us for 4 on Saturday. To be honest, I just think you're as good as we looked against Crewe. This Crewe, and it's a completely different kettle of fish. What are you? You haven't lost. Apart from Pompey, but you haven't lost really in the league since sort of early October, have you? When was the last time you lost? When was the last time you lost 2 on a spin? It must be months.
Not this season. Put it that way.
So, I just don't think we'll get any joy up there, to be honest with you, on Saturday. So I went for 4 and probably, like Charles will get a couple and Dooley will get 1 and probably Bavard and someone like that. I just think it's too top heavy for us at the top of the pitch. You'll have the majority of the ball. You'll pretty much dictate play and you'll take chances like you have all season. So, yeah, I think you think 5, I think 4. But either way, I think, we'll get thumped.
Yeah, even with Josh Sheehan being missing, we've still got a lot of quality in that midfield to bring in. Like we've got the choice of Dempsey, Mendes, Gomez. So like I say, we've got plenty coming off the bench, and I think we'll be licking our wounds, and we'll want to bounce back. We won't want to we want to pick up that form again, and no better time to do it. It's my last Bolton game full stop of the year, so I'd like us to go out with a bang, just for selfish reasons more than anything.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think you will. I just can't see you losing 2 on the spin. I can't see you not playing well.
And right, apologies about that. My laptop literally just died. Bloody hell.
I think I think you'll turn us over pretty convincingly. I think Saturday, to be honest, not through any lack of sort of effort and endeavour from Rovers. I just think you'll be that much better.
I'll take it.
Yeah, right. Where were you? Just doing predictions.
Yeah, he said. Ryan said 5-0.
Yeah, he's going. Yeah, he's going with his.
I'm sticking to it. I've said it on too many.
Same prediction as they said on there.
I said it on the radio and I've said it on hours now. I've got to stick with it.
Neil,
what have you gone with?
Well, Ryan said it was pretty bold and shocking, but I said, to be honest, I've wrote down 4. I think we'll get it for 4 on Saturday. So ain't that shocking?
Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, Jesus. Neil, what goal scorers would you go for? Like we always do as well for them.
I said I can see Charles getting a couple, Bodvarsson getting 1, and Dooley maybe getting 1.
Mm-hmm. And Ryan, who would you go for goal scorers?
So we've started getting a few more from midfield. And Nulundalu's actually he's out with injury now. So, but we've obviously you'd back Charles, wouldn't you? You'd back Charles. Dempsey, a good goal scorer. He's recently come back into the team. And Bodvarsson, he's been screaming for a starting opportunity since he got injured in January. He's come back, and sadly, his first start was against a very good Portsmouth side. He's been bagging in the cup against lesser sides like your Stockports and your Harrogates. So he'll be well up for it.
Yeah, because I remember he was good against us last season. I'm pretty sure he started in the game last season at your place, where we drew 1-1. So yeah, well, like I said before, my laptop decided to die. It didn't even give me a warning. It just literally shut down. So apologies for that. I'm going to go 3-1 Bolton. I wasn't confident against Crewe and we won. I'm not confident against Bolton, but it is going to be tough, especially if Hunt and Wilson are out. But yeah, I'll say Luke Thomas to come off the bench and score for us, and I'll go with Dion Charles Brace, because I remember when he was at Accrington, he's a little, I don't want to swear, but he was a little annoying striker. When I remember scoring him against us and just shushing, he's a proper like shithouse. I'll just say it. He is, and he loves it. So and he's on top form. So I'll go with Dion Charles Brace, and I'll go with Ricardo Santos header, because we do concede. Yeah, we do concede quite a lot from set pieces, or whether it's a free kick or a corner. So that's what I would go. So yeah, bloody hell, 5-0. So yeah, Ryan did go with the same one as well, because like you said, you've got to say it now. You've been on the Radio Bristol, you've been on your pod, and yeah, you come on ours as well and said it. And yeah, 4-1, and yeah, hopefully I'll be there. I'll be there. So hopefully it's not a massive battering, but anything could happen. Bolton are on fire. So, but yeah, we're pretty much going to end it here. Apologies again, like I said, for my
we're all professional here, don't worry. We know what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. So But yeah, appreciate obviously you, Ryan, for coming on. Really do. Like I said, I shouted your pod out before. Trotter Chatter, go and find him on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. Subscribe to him, give him a follow. Obviously, a lot of people will probably be wondering when is our pod going on. All the podcast platforms should be on very soon. I'm just sorting out a few little things, and it should be on probably after Christmas. But yeah, obviously subscribe to us if you haven't. Go and subscribe to Trotter Chatter. Give them a follow on Twitter as well. Really, really good content. You're always having a laugh doing trivia and stuff like that. Really enjoyed obviously your episode the other night as well. So yeah, thanks to Ryan as always. Thanks to Neil. Thanks to everyone that's tuned in. If you're watching on the replay, do leave your score prediction, any thoughts. Leave a like, subscribe on the road to 7,000 subscribers, and follow us on our socials if you haven't already. Talking Gas Pod on Twitter and Talking Gas Podcast on Instagram. But yeah, hopefully there be a slightly more positive match reaction, and hopefully it won't be 5-0 or 4-1 Bolton or 3-1 Bolton. But yeah, I'll be back with a video on Saturday after the game. But yeah, thanks for watching, and up the gas.